judging can be the best thing for you. Well, the best thing for your ego. When you judge, you feel you're in control, you feel you're smart, you know what you're doing. The truth is, when you're judging yourself or someone else, even more when you judge someone else, that's a tool for destruction. Okay, when you judge someone else, you might feel, okay, yeah, I know what's happening here, I'll judge them. But you're creating a lot more destruction for yourself than you're creating for them. Many times in life we come through situations that we see something from the outside, okay? We see something that we're not part of. And as human beings, of course also me, what's the first thing that comes up is judgment. Why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? And it's not only when you're just standing in the street and looking at people come back and forth. It could be in your relationship at home, with your spouse, with your kids, at work, and basically any place that you come into interaction with a human being. So as human beings, a lot of times we judge. Now, when you judge someone else, you're creating for yourself more damage, because you really have no clue what's going on in their life. And also when you think you have the full picture, maybe what they see is a certain picture, you see it as a total different picture, their interpretation is different. So they might do something that they think is good, and you interpret it in a bad way. And again, it happens to all of us. If we'll go back a few years, when I started a business, I remember then there was someone I worked with over there, and at the beginning was a really good relationship. Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. Good, great. And I thought we're on a pretty good path. And we also thought to do some more joint ventures. And in general, if I look at the big picture, everything was great. So, I was happy for that. And then one time I had to reach my friend, and he didn't answer my calls. And I was like, why isn't he answering my calls? It's like we were in a good relationship, the business was doing fine. And I thought we were also friends even more than that, not only in business. I thought we were, really creating a really deep friendship. And then, what happens when he didn't answer my calls? What happened? Guess? Exactly, yeah. My mind started making all of these interpretations based basically on nothing. Well, based on the fact he didn't answer my calls, but I didn't really have any real facts, to work with. And I started thinking maybe he doesn't want to do business anymore. Maybe he also took some of the money and disappeared. Maybe he also went to someone else and, is trying now to compete with me. And all these stories continued coming up in my head. And again, based on what? On the fact that he didn't answer my call. Well, it was a few calls, to be honest. But still, I started to make up so many stories based on that. Now, after some time, he did answer my call, okay? And when he answered my call, of course, he apologized that he couldn't answer. Something came up, something in his family, and he had no time to deal with anything else. So what basically happened, he had a family emergency. Based on that family emergency that I didn't know of, he couldn't answer my calls. And I started making up stories about maybe, he doesn't want to work with me, maybe he damaged me, the business, maybe he doesn't want to be friends. I made up so many stories. Based on what? Based on that fact that he didn't answer the phone. Does he have to answer the phone? Whoever, even if it's your spouse, do they have to answer your phone all the time? The answer is no. If you're in an emergency, you work in 911, you work whatever emergency field it is, you have to be available to the phone 24/7 when you're on shift. I'll give you a different example. I was in a relationship, and in that relationship, my girlfriend back then, she said something, and I took it in a way that I was like, what the hell is she thinking to herself? Why is she talking like that? Why is she doing that? Does she not appreciate all the great things that I did for her, that I'm doing for her? I'm really, I'm putting myself all out over here. And the way she was reacting, I was like, wow, this is not in place. This has really no place. And then I thought to myself, something over here is not right. But the first thing that went into my mind What's judgment and starting building stories? Maybe she doesn't want the relationship. Maybe inside the relationship she wants me to do everything. Something over here is not right. And again, I started making up all different type of stories, okay? What I realized was that unfortunately her grandmother was doing not well, as an understatement, was doing pretty bad. And then she had to put the focus on her, and she was with her. So again, and based on one conversation that we had, I started making up all different types of stories that of course damaged the relationship, damaged myself, damaged her. So why? Like, there's no reason. When we judge someone, the only one that is really being held back is us, okay? Because we could create something that is bigger than whatever we have right now, and based on our judgment, it's not happening. When we judge someone, okay, what basically happens is that we take a certain situation that we interpret in a certain way, and we build on that buildings and buildings and buildings, and based on what? Based on our interpretation. Like, first, that's our interpretation. It's maybe right for us, maybe not, but maybe the person, or maybe the situation we're judging is totally different, okay? It doesn't have to be judging a person, it could be judging a certain situation that happened to you or something else. So we're building buildings and stories based basically on interpretation. So there's no really strong base over there. That's number one. Number two is, when you judge someone else, you really, you really have no clue what's the whole story over there. You might think you know the whole story, and again, even if it's someone that is close to you, you might think that you know the whole story, but maybe they went through something that you didn't even realize. Maybe they went through something hard or something that is challenging them that they didn't tell you, and you have no clue. So you never have the whole story. Even if you think, again, even if you think that you're really close to them, you never really have the whole story. So why judge? Like, how is judgment helping you? If you're a judge in the court, I pray that you do your job best, and you judge in the right ways, and judge with honesty, and be 100% there in order to give the right judgment. But if you don't work as a judge in court, okay, so there's really no reason for judgment. You have no clue, and you never have the whole story. And judgment doesn't help. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help them. Now, if you do want to, I'll say, learn something from the situation, you could give feedback. Again, feedback to yourself, feedback to the other person. That's great, that's amazing. And feedback in order to learn. And when it comes to giving feedback to a different person, make sure that they're in the state of getting feedback, and instead you're coming to help them, that they want your help, by the way. They might not want it. But if you do think that they want your help, and your feedback can help them, and they'll appreciate your feedback, amazing. Give them feedback, help them move forward. But as long as that's not the case, there's really no place for judgment. It's only holding you back. You're damaging the other people around you. You're putting people in categories, or situation in categories that could be much broader, that could be so much more, in that human being, in this situation. And when you judge, you put it in this little box. Okay, this is what it is, and based on nothing, like we said. No reason for judgment. Again, number one, you never have the full picture. Number two, maybe what you interpret is something bad, or something that is not right, or something great. The other person came from a total different state of mind of doing something great. You just didn't interpret it the way they did it. Each one has a different interpretation for the same thing. There's a story about next time you have a situation which is basically all day, all night of something that has to do with judgment, instead of judging, be curious. Wow, what happened over here? Like, just watch. What can I learn? Or if you do want to get to conclusions and you do want to create feedback, amazing, I'm all for that. But a second before that, step back. Like, in your mind, okay? Step back. What can I learn? Let's be curious. What happened over here? Okay, I interpreted it in a certain way. Maybe now I can look at it from a different way, from a different perspective. From when you change the way you look at things, what you look at changes. We talk about that, at the beginning of every video on the channel. You see that if you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes. So, all good. Give feedback. Try to grow. Amazing. Also, when it's for yourself. Not also, mainly when it's for yourself. Before you judge yourself, zoom out. Look at the situation from above. and give it maybe a different interpretation, something that would help you move forward. Really, really, really important. There's really no place for judgment that is pure criticism. It won't get you anywhere. Why judgment? No judgment. Listen to the song. So really, my dear friends, no judgment. You have a situation in life, someone that you're close with, something happened. Let's learn, grow together, give feedback to each other, be curious, enjoy all the beautiful things in life has to give us, but no judgment. No place for any judgment, really. No place, no place. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. If you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the most amazing things in life are the ones you take for granted.